So in this video, we're going to be discussing the differences between basic life support, BLS, and the Heartsaver courses. Hello and welcome. My name is Nurse Eunice. I'm the owner of Florida Training Academy, and I'm also an American Heart Association Training Center faculty member for CPR, BLS, ACLS, and PALS. I mentor instructors nationally and internationally, depending on the brand of CPR. And if you're looking for a quality training center to align with, I will be happy to assist you. Our website is fltraining.com. All right, so let us begin. Once you're at atlas.heart.org, you're going to go ahead and sign in by entering the same email address you use to claim your e-card. So usually with American Heart Association, everything is dependent on your email, and all of the heart.org sites will allow you to log in using that same email address and or profile. So now that I'm logged in, where I'm going to go to get to my training resources is you have a couple of options. You have dashboard, classes, training center, and training resources. Go ahead and click on training resources. From training resources, click on course information. And if you haven't gone through this website, played around in it, navigate it, I need for you to find your documents, find your resources, because a lot of you all are heavily dependent on your training center to answer questions that you could answer within a few moments if you just log into the system and use the search icons. All right, so now that we're on the actual training resources course information, in order for you to understand the differences between basic life support and the Heartsaver courses, I'm going to begin by starting off with the Heartsaver courses. And this one says First Aid, CPR, and AED. Right, so after clicking on the hyperlink, we're going to go to the course resources page where we're going to find our course materials. All right, and so this one talks about the 2020 guidelines for the Heartsaver instructor. Ignore the fact that it says 2020 because American Heart Association changes their curriculum about every 5 years based off of research. So I know it's 2024 and it says 2020, but give it a few months, you're going to see a change and you're going to have new instructor resources coming soon. Right, and so we have our course resources, our pre-course materials. This is our equipment list for CPR and AED. This is our equipment list for first aid. And so the way I want you to think about it is Heartsaver courses are for laypersons. So when this says CPR, AED, this is for somebody who would not be running a code in a hospital. This is for somebody who may be a teacher. It could be a coach. It could be somebody who works in a warehouse. So Heartsaver courses are for non-medical persons. Your rosters, your information, I want you to look at all of this here. We usually don't send out pre-course letters. Our pre-course letters now, if they are sent, they're sent electronically. Hey, welcome to class. This is our address. This is your class's start time. This will be your instructor. If you want to send out a sample agenda, you have that here, and that's for Heartsaver Adult. We also have Heartsaver Pediatric. So who would be an audience for the Heartsaver Pediatric courses? Those are usually going to be those who are whose agency who work under the authority of the Department of Children and Families. So your daycare providers, they would need Heartsaver Pediatric. So when in doubt, when you have a student on the phone and they say they need their CPR renewed, you can ask them, hey, can you provide me with the type of card or the name of the course you took on your last card? And you can also ask them to contact their state regulatory body, because what we don't want is for them taking a CPR course that's for an adult instead of the pediatric course, and then they have to reschedule and they're not able to get certified with their state agency. So it's very important that as an instructor, you do your due diligence. All right, and so we have our Heartsaver adult courses. We have Heartsaver pediatric, which in the videos, you're not going to see adults with, injuries. You're going to see kids with injuries. So again, this is geared to more towards the daycare population. Your course materials, you have your adult checklist, your child checklist, and your infant checklist. So if you're only teaching adult CPR, you would indicate that on the card that you issue. You would not have to complete the child and infant skills checklist. However, if you're teaching all 3 age groups, you would have to print off the proper checklist, and whenever you issue your card, you would have to check the appropriate modules showing that you taught all 3 of these different topics. First aid is a separate course, you all, but it falls under Heartsaver. So, yes, you could actually teach first aid only, and they also have a first aid for adults and a first aid for pediatrics. Or you could teach the combo course. So, when your training center is asking you what type of Heartsaver card do you need, this is why, because it could be Heartsaver pediatrics, it could be a Heartsaver adult, child, and infant CPR, or it can be a combination of all of the above. And now, one more thing, they have a Heartsaver K through 12 card. And that's specifically for those who are attached to a school system, such as students, teachers, the staff who work in the hospital, excuse me, the staff who work at the school, and also the school's administration. And those cards tend to be a little less expensive. However, K through 12 school age, you cannot use the K through 12 cards for someone who works at a daycare center. They would be getting the pediatric Heartsaver cards. Okay. And so I want you to go to atlas.heart.org, play around in the system, and I want you to look at the different items, the different course materials that are available for the Heartsaver cards. Heartsaver, layperson. So let's say there's a nursing student who calls you and they say, hey, I need a Heartsaver first aid course and a basic life support course. You all, that's two different curriculums. So you have to make sure that you have your instructor materials, that you have your DVDs, that you've ordered your two separate cards, because basic life support does not cover first aid. Okay, so the differences in the curriculum is basic life support is geared toward teaching individuals how to perform as a single rescuer and how to perform as a team, such as what you'd see in the hospital settings. And so whenever we scroll down for our basic life support, oh, and one other difference is that your basic life support students have to take a test at the end of their course, and they have to make a score of 84% or better. Heartsaver students, even though your training center may provide you with the exams are optional. Plus, with Heartsaver or layperson students, they don't have to feel for a pulse. So when you watch the videos, it can get a little tricky because it's like, hey, why didn't they have the actor on the video feel for a pulse? That's because Heartsaver laypersons, they may delay starting CPR while trying to determine whether or not a pulse is present. For them, they are to check for the absence or the presence of breathing. If the person is not breathing, they are to assume the person's in cardiac arrest, make sure 911 is on the phone, and they can begin their high quality chest compressions. All right, so over here, we've already gone through this in another video, but we have our BLS equipment list, and we also have our course rosters. The equipment list is going to be different because with BLS courses, you have to teach your students how to use the back mask device. So pay attention to the differences. And you can't use the back mask device as a single rescuer. So we're not teaching Heartsaver students how to utilize this advanced equipment. As far as our checklist, for BLS, we have the adult CPR and AED skills testing checklist. You also have the infant checklist. There is not a child checklist for the BLS course. And so I want you to get into the system. I want you to mature as an instructor. And part of your maturing process is that you can, navigate these systems and answer some of these questions yourself. When in doubt, there's a little search icon here, this magnifying glass. Go ahead and type whatever you're looking for into that search bar once it populates, and that's going to help you be a more knowledgeable American Heart Association instructor. All right, so this is Nurse Eunice with Florida Training Academy. Again, our website is fltraining.com. We provide CPR, BLS, ACLS, PALS, and all of the associated instructor courses right here in Jacksonville. We also travel, so if I can be of assistance, my email address is admin, ADMIN, at fltraining.com. And you have a wonderful day. Thank you for being a lifesaver.